Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel here. This is 3KO Games with another Empires and Puzzles video for you. This is part 5 of my mana control series. I've done every other color, and I will link those videos down below. And now it is time for the last color. This is purple. These are the dark heroes that I like to bring in, or would love to bring in if I could land the heroes, against some tough opponents to hopefully shut them down. Again, my angle on this is mostly from an offensive standpoint. Like, who am I going to take in to a war battle to shut the opponent down? So for that reason, I am not going to talk about 3 stars in this video. It's really just, I think, Renfield and Morris, so that's fine. I'm also not going to talk about mana generation reducers, because I don't think that is a real offensive skill that I'm thinking about when I'm choosing heroes for my war teams. So instead, we are going to jump in and talk about Goretooth first, because we are talking about the mana blockers, the people that stop the enemy from gaining mana. And an important thing to remember here is that if you fire these people too late, it is not the same as silence. If they are already full on mana block doesn't do anything. They're still going to fire. So you want to catch them early in their mana generation. Goretooth from the Monster Island group. Fantastic hero. Kind of underrated these days. Stats are pretty low. He's been around for a little while, but I still use him all the time. Still have not limit broke him though. Maybe I should do that. Damage to 1. Good size snipe. That target gets 45% negative defense and decreases more for 2 turns. And then the target can't gain mana for 2 turns. It's only 2 turns, but sometimes throwing that into a very dangerous tank and then being able to throw tiles at them for 2 turns without them gaining any mana is what you need to like kind of reset the board. The biggest thing about Goretooth, I think, is that he's very fast speed. You can get his special up in 2 tile matches, which is pretty great. Enjoying my second cup of coffee here. All right, further down the line we have Hell, another mana blocker. The original Hell does 315% damage to the target, minor to nearby, and the target and nearby can't gain mana for 3 turns. Plus, she does extra damage against Holy. So there's that. All of this at average speed. Proteus 4-star, also at average speed. Even as a 4-star, Proteus comes in handy because of that mana control. He's going to block mana from 3. Target and nearby receive 327 damage over 3 turns, which is like nothing. Poison damage, I believe. But most importantly is silences 3. I'm sorry, stops mana gain for 3 turns. Whoop, that's different. Finally, I'm throwing her in this slide because it's kind of like a mana block, but it's the Sleep Weaver mechanic. One of the least impressive heroes of the month. Sorry, Anushka. Anushka is a 5-star average speed healer, but also steals buffs from 1 and puts them to sleep. So when they're asleep, they gain plus 40% damage if you attack them. Or they receive, I should say, plus 40% damage if you attack them. And then they won't be able to attack themselves, and they won't be able to gain mana if they're not hit. So that is a reason to use Anushka. The health recovery is very, very low. Just not very great. Moving on to the mana reducers in purple. Fura, 4-star. Her costume gives 280% damage to 3 and reduces the mana of 3 by 15%. Sometimes that's all you need to buy yourself a little bit of time. All of this at average speed, so it's not that impressive, but it's something. Griffex mana reducer at slow speed, 5-star. And when I'm talking mana reducers, I'm talking mana reducers with Griffex. He's the only that's the only reason to use this guy. So what does he do? Reduces the mana of all holy enemies by 100%. Wipes it down to nothing. All other enemies' mana is reduced by 15 or 50%. All of this at slow speed. So there's not really attack, there's not really other stuff. It's just this mana game with Griffex. And if that is worth sacrificing a spot in your war lineup, your attack team, and go right ahead. I love mana control stuff, but I sure would like to include something else with that. But Griffex really wipes that mana clean. Going further down the line here, I'm kind of out of order, aren't I? Yes, I am. Mana reducer Becky from the Magic family. She's an interesting hero. She reduces everybody else's mana based on who her target was. So they do a little damage, and then when that target fires their special skill, all other enemies have mana reduced by 15%. It's a little clumsy. I mean, ideally, if you're bringing a mana control hero in, you kind of don't want them to fire. But with Becky, you want them to fire. I guess if you're just playing and somebody's high on mana, you can just fire at them, and assuming that they're going to go off, and hoping then that they will take the rest of the team down so that the rest of the team won't actually get their special skills fired. That's something. I think it's kind of a clumsy special skill, to be honest. But that's Becky. A couple more in the mana reducers. Luna, of course, from the Pet family. Fast speed, 5-star. All allies fire a moonbeam that reduces a random target's mana by 5% for 3 turns. She was so dominant for so long. Then we also got Mina, the green gargoyle. Does kind of the same thing. You don't need to reduce them by much. Just prevent them from firing that turn. And then the next turn, maybe they'll get hit again. And just prevent them from firing one more time. Can be very, very very frustrating to play against. And you definitely need a Dispeller. Or you need to take her out really fast. Of course, you count on your Dispeller, and then who does that Moonbeam hit right away? Usually the Dispeller. Yeah. Mana reducer Set from the Dunes family. He's average speed. He's got a big beefy minion and gives poison damage to all. So that's nice. The actual mana reduction mechanic here for him is very awkward, because if he's defeated in the next 3 turns, all enemies' mana is reduced to 0. I mean, I guess that's a bonus thing, but I would not take him into a battle with mana control in mind, like you're just hoping that he dies. That's not why I want to take a hero into battle. I hope that they live. So anyway, that's Set. Let's jump in next to the Mana Stealers. They're not just taking it away, they're taking it for themselves. Hell's Costume. Great stats on her costume. A really great hero. I see a lot of people still using her. 300% damage to all. Steals generated mana, starting low and increasing for 4 turns. Extra damage against Holy, and Dark Allies also get a little bonus. Pretty nice. And then the wonderful Shacklebolt from the Construct family. Another one that people kind of forget about. He used to be pretty dominant, and now he's just a little bit older, so the stats are a little low. But hits pretty hard to 3. and steals 25% of their mana. Copies buffs from the target and nearby as well. Lots of good reasons to keep on using Shacklebolt. We'll move next into the mindless attack heroes and start in alphabetical order with the Queen, the original. I don't know if she's the original. No, you know who the original mindless attack hero is? It's that freaking 4-star Zoc. He was horrible. But then they got the mindless attack thing down right eventually. And they definitely did with Aelfric, who used to rule the game, especially in Rush War. I still think she's a very viable option on offense during Rush War. There are lots of ways to counter her if she is a defensive hero. But on offense, Aelfric's pretty great. Hit and reduce max health with 5 big cubes to random enemies, right? And each time an enemy gets that cube, they're going to get mindless attack for 3 turns. Sometimes you just hit one person, which is cool, but they're probably dead. Sometimes you hit everybody on that team, and it's wonderful. Everybody can, will not be able to fire their special skill. Problem with Aelfric, of course, is that you can't control that. She just is going to fire 5 random cubes, and you're hoping they hit who you need them to hit. And if they don't, if you are left with your cleanser still standing, well, then you can just cleanse that right away. Next we have Knave of Hearts. I actually have Knave of Hearts, not limit broken. I don't even think he's full on emblems, but he's max level to 480 at least, so I can use him every once in a while. I do like his fast speed, 300% damage to target and nearby. Target, not the nearby, but the target gets mindless attack on a random ally for the next 3 turns, and then you get a little bitty minion for each ally, which is kind of nice. The minion is neither here nor there. Actually, when the minion gets defeated, it gives its owner just a little bit of health, so that's kind of nice. But really, just the mindless attack to 1 is the reason to use Knave of Hearts. Medea and Costume Medea. One of my favorites for sure. Mindless attack hero from the Changing Tides speed from the original Untold Tales. Depending upon the which firing of the special, 355% damage to 450% damage to 3. And the target, not all 3, but the target gets shifting mindless attack for 3 turns on the first charge, or the first time you fire the special, and 4 turns the next time you fire that special. Costume Medea, a hero that I would really, really love to get. Merlin is a 4-star dark hero with mindless attack. Also has a costume, 220 to 250% damage to the target who casts mindless attack for 3 turns. Last up in the mindless attack category is Quintus Costume 2. Come on, everybody, the Love Doctor. He was so coveted for a long time. Now he's still very useful on offense in Rush War formats. Not so much outside of that, but 300% damage to 3, and they get mindless attack. And they get mindless attack for 4 turns. He's at slow speed, so that's the thing that's holding him back. But the Love Doctor, still a great mindless attack hero. Last category, we're going to talk about the silencers here. Mortimer, who was just featured, I believe, in Soul Exchange or Fated Summons, or maybe it was Soul Exchange, is like the 5-star version of Liju, and you know how much I love Liju. So, Mortimer from the summer, what is that called? The Beach Party family, 480% damage to the target, minor to nearby. Then it silences those 3. And then the caster and nearby resist special skill block for 3 turns. That's pretty good. At average speed. Not a bad hero. His stats are outdated, but based on that special skill alone, if you've got him and you don't have other mana control heroes that you like to use, he's worth bulking up so he can stand up against some defenses. Swift Paw. Great Fox hero. Average speed, snipe and silence 1 for 3 turns. I wish Swift Paw were a little faster, especially just hitting once. But that's okay. His hit is still pretty great. Tamlin from the Wilderness Summon, one of the Fawns. All enemies get 6 hits with 64% defense down after he first hits. And after those 6 hits are done, if they're still alive, or after it's cleansed away, then they get 6 turn silence. Man, in Rush tournaments, Tamlin is just really, really good, because what are you going to do? You have to shut him down or have a status ailment immunity going into fighting against Tamlin, because otherwise that defense down is crippling, and then if you finally get rid of that, congratulations, now you're silenced for 6 turns. This is all enemies. You can't do too much when your whole team is silenced for 6 turns. Tamlin, great hero. Finally, we have, I guess I'll call him a silencer, although it's interesting because it's because of the dance. It's not it's not a special skill that works just as an ailment. Von Rothbart. I chased Von Rothbart for a long time, never got lucky. My version of chasing is like I spent a few gems, not going crazy. But anyway, 550% damage to the target, plus they get the Ballad of Pain. 4 turns silencing and spreading to nearby enemies. That's so great. When the dance ends, Dancer suffers 1,700 damage. And I still think, like, even if you're going up against one of those new bards who have shut down the dances and the ballads down to 1 turn, you're still shutting them down for 1 turn and giving them 1,700 damage. Von Rothbart, excellent hero still to this day. Even though there are counters to what he can do, if I play against Von Rothbart, make sure you have a different hero that does a dance for your team, because the dance can take that ballad away without the 1,700 damage. So that's really good. Of course, if he hits the hero that gives the dance, whoops, then you're in a world of hurt. All right, now the moment you've all been waiting for, my top 5 mana control heroes in purple. Number 5, maybe a controversial pick here, but I'm going with good old Goretooth. Goretooth, who's been around for a little while. With no emblems or limit breaks, his team power is only 839. He's been here for over 2 years. But I still love using Goretooth. So, 430% damage to the target, plus they get negative 45% defense for 2 turns. Decreases by 15% each turn, up to 60% defense down. And the target can't gain mana for 2 turns. The important part here is he's the only hero on this list that can do this at very fast speed. If you need to shut somebody down in 2 tile matches, he's your guy. It can buy you the time to charge up your other heroes or do whatever you need. Sometimes I've used him in combination with another dark mana control hero, like an average speed mana control hero, like Knave of Hearts, say. I guess he's fast, right? But it's like 1 extra tile match. So you get the mana to stop, and then you're likely to probably get 1 more purple match in the next 2 turns. And you get that other purple match, and now they might have mana gain back, but never mind, because they have mindless attack. It's a nice 1-2 punch that way. So Goretooth, My number 5. Number 4, I have Tamlin. Tamlin is an excellent hero. I think he does so much that I couldn't put him higher than that because it's like the silencing is really only part of the special. He hits so hard that maybe your team's going to die anyway. And then they have the enhanced defense ailment of 64% defense down against special skills. So they're probably going to die that way. So the reason he's not higher on this list is that sometimes the silence is just not even going to kick in. The team's going to be dead by the time you would get to that silence. After they use 6 turns of defense down. It's just crazy. So that's Tamlin. Plus all those great passives. Ailment received, they get a mana up. Plus, it's going to resist attack status ailments and wither and all that stuff. And of course, the big one resists insanity. So a great hero to use in Rush because of its slow speed. Also a great hero to use in Insanity Wars because of that. Number 4, Tamlin. Number 3, going back in time again. I'm choosing Costume Hell. Costume Hell, I don't have. A lot of Alliance mates have her and still use her all the time because it's a good big hit to all. And then steals mana of all enemies. This is all at average speed. Extra damage to Holy. She's a really great weapon to have. Plus, with the Legends 2017 family bonus, she's already going to get plus 5% mana generation. Plus, then the costume bonus on that. So she's starting at 10% mana generation. This is Costume Hell, and she is my number 3. Number 2, Costume Medea. Costume Medea is maybe my most wanted hero in the whole game. I think she's fantastic. The original Medea was pretty good, but once we get this costume power, the boost of stats is incredible. Then we get all of this effect on special skill, a 50% chance to deal an additional 80% damage to all enemies, and give the caster 19% mana generation for 2 turns. That's amazing. Plus double limit breaker, and she's got a special skill boost. And at Changing Tides, she's going to get her special to fire off once in that first 6 turns of the special skill boost ether power. Then, of course, she's going to resist insanity because she's a costume from Untold Tales. And she's got that shifting mindless attack. After the first time, it always hits harder and is going to give them a mindless attack for 4 turns. She's just an excellent, excellent hero. My number 1 hero, I actually had these in backwards order for a minute, and then I thought, no, I'm going to choose maybe the less popular route here. Von Rothbart, he ruled the game for a minute. He doesn't rule the game so much anymore, at least on defense, because there are ways around him. But on offense, I have seen so many videos of Von Rothbart winning the entire battle. If you can hit the right person and then that silence spreads, you've got all the time in the world to charge your heroes and all the spaces on the board to shoot some tiles up. And plus that 1700 damage might just kill them all anyway. This guy is going to resist defensive ailments, so you can't try to take him out like that. He's going to heal himself every time there's a status ailment that is expired or is cleared. And that Ballad of Pain is just so good, watching that dance spread to the enemies, and suddenly that whole team is just like weaving back and forth before they all just take 1700 damage, like 50% of their health just gone. If they're still alive, you are probably up on mana on all your team and you can just take everybody else down. Von Rothbart is still a team wrecker. And for that reason, he is my number one mana control hero in purple. That does it. That is the list, everybody. I thank you so much for watching the video today. Would love to know what you think about any of these heroes, if you would put them in different order, if I missed somebody you thought should really be on the list. Send me a message, make a comment. I would love to talk to you further about it all. But for now, we'll see you next time.